Hello artists! Today we're going to be learning about silhouette painting. This type of painting can be done with watercolor or tempera paint. Today I've chosen watercolor. Silhouette painting is a technique used to capture the time of day when the sun is setting or rising and there are deep shadows covering the subject or main focus of your painting. This time of day is called dawn or dusk. For this painting you will need all the basic painting supplies as well as a spray bottle of water, a texture sponge, a mixing palette, some tape, and a hairdryer. First, I tape off the edges of my painting to keep them nice. Next, I'm going to spritz my paper with water. We're using the wet on wet technique for this project so I can get some really pretty blending of my sunset colors. I want the sun about halfway down the painting and directly in the middle, so I start with the brightest yellow there. I add orange and red the further away I get from the sun. Next, I need to determine my horizon line. Remember, that's the line that divides the sky from the ground. In this case, the sun will be setting behind the horizon line. Since I also plan on making this an ocean view, I need to plan for how the water will look. Water is like a mirror. It reflects what's above it. So the yellow of the sun will be right near the horizon line, and as the water gets closer to the beach, the colors will become more orange and then red. Water also tends to distort or bend whatever it's reflecting. So when I'm painting my water, I need to blend with horizontal lines. The top of the painting is now dry, so I'll add another coat of more vibrant colors, and I'll blend those out with a brush. Next, I will dry this layer. It's time to think about subject. What will the audience actually be looking at? Where will the focal point be? For my subject, I'm going to paint palm trees, but your subject could be anything. The idea is to build shapes into an outline of a subject and then add a few details that help clue in the audience. I can tell my background is all the way dry when the paper no longer feels cool to the touch and no paint gets on my hands. It should be room temperature. Now you know that your paint won't mix with the new paint you're about to put down. For my palm trees, I will need to add some bumpiness to the trunks and spikes to the leaves. This gives the general idea of a palm tree without having to paint all the details. As I'm painting, I notice that it's difficult for me to see what part of the background is the sky and what part is the ocean. I need to add in some details to help the audience understand what they're looking at. I look at a picture of the ocean and I see the clouds in the sky and the waves in the water. I'm going to use gray for both of these so that the subject, the palm trees, are still the darkest point in the painting. When something's far away from you, it looks lighter. When something is close to you, it looks darker. In art, we call that aerial perspective. I make gray by adding a little bit of black to a lot of water in the paint palette. I mix an even lighter gray by adding even more water in the space next to it. The light gray is used for the horizon lines and the waves very far out. The dark gray is used for the waves very close to the beach. I should use horizontal lines of different thicknesses so these waves can look realistic. I'm going to use light gray for a few clouds at the top. I pounce or stamp my brush very lightly in a line. Some parts of the clouds need to be thicker than other parts to make it look realistic. It's time to pull that tape off. Remember to fold it back and pull it in the same direction that it's laying. If you go slow, you shouldn't have any rips. The last step is to add your artist's signature and class code. The silhouette painting is a great project for learning or intermediate artists. Just have fun adding colors to your background. Remember to use a dryer between layers and clue your audience in with some details. I can't wait to see what you create.